Are one of these 5 things silently keeping you over 20% body fat? Because in my case, they were. Even after a decade of doing this, they were still quietly biting me in the ass. But once I fixed them, woo, baby, I started looking unrecognizable in the best way possible. And so did everyone else who fixed them too. So in this video, I'm breaking down the 5 fat loss mistakes that might be keeping you stuck over 20% body fat and exactly how to fix them so you can start seeing insane changes in just weeks. And by the end of this, the next time your partner's giving you shit, you won't have to look down anymore. You'll be ripped. You can look back up and fight. Now, by fixing this first mistake, you can lose pounds of fat weekly without really putting any extra effort. And here's how. Now, on my first day of jiu-jitsu, I was excited to go back to the gym because COVID had just hit. So before my first class, I was about to eat a big tuna salad for energy. And as I was leaving, my mom asks me, "So how do you feel?" I said, "We're good." Why? No one in my family asked each other, "How do you feel?" Because she had bought some extremely discounted, close to expiry cans of tuna. As the class went on, violence began in my stomach. And this cute princess of a girl beat the shit out of me. Literally. So I'm there trying to protect myself and she jumps on top of me and boom! I farted loud like a tiger's roar in the jungle. And as I lay there in my own shame and disgust, she choked me. Now, this wouldn't have happened if I'd eaten less. Because while I was eating, I knew midway, man, I'm feeling good. This is enough. But I don't know about you, but where I come from, if I leave food on my plate, my mom is reminding me about kids starving in Africa. So I have no choice. And it became a habit to force myself to finish everything despite how I felt, full or not full. But this habit is what's keeping me fat all along. So I started serving myself much less than the normal amount, and I'd go back and reserve myself when I finish and if I want some more. But most of the time, I wouldn't go back because I feel fucking perfect. I'd not feel like some balloon animal anymore after eating, and I'd be saving myself from hundreds of extra calories from each meal. That can lead to a pound or 2 pounds of fat loss in a week. It's just like pumping air into a tire. Once it hits that perfect pressure, stop. Because if you keep going, it'll burst. And so will you. It's a habit in us. I eat until death. No. We need to learn to start eating until you feel just fine, just enough, and move on with your day. So if this is you, try this out and you'll see that you were eating so many more calories than you needed to. And maybe, just maybe, you can now use these new calorie savings on things you actually want. Now look, if you want to drop below 20% and get jacked at 15% body fat, it's going to be impossible if you don't know how many calories you should be eating, how much protein you should be getting, what are the best sources, and what a complete training program looks like. I've put all these essential steps for you in one guide. Please use it, it'll help us. Now, many of us are fat because we are fat fucks on the weekend, let's be honest. I'd spend all week resisting a little chocolate. But then when the weekend hits, I'd be undoing everything. I'd undo my pants for a chocolate. But what if I told you that it might be possible to have a cheat day and not really kill your progress? So I'm eating dessert just on Saturday. So when it's Friday, as soon as the clock strikes 12, man. And I noticed that this was working wonderfully initially, but then sometimes not so good. Because I was losing weight and then suddenly everything was the same, but I'm not anymore. How could this be? And then it hit me. Initially, I was a bit obsessed with ice cream. Every cheat day, I'd go to my local ice cream store and have a mega, super duper grand double hand guac 3000 combo sundae. And that would keep me full, man. And most importantly, satisfied. You put in front of me 3 sexy ladies. What's that ice cream? It's a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight. And then a month later, I got bored of the ice cream and I started eating desserts like baklava and kaju katli. Now it's tiny but delicious. That's also what I always say on my first and last date when I meet someone new. So Friday night, I'd order boxes of these and I just keep going ham on them. I'm leaving the house Saturday morning to coach clients. I'm putting them in my pocket. I'm eating them. I'm coaching clients while they're resting. I'm slipping in chocolates in my mouth. Because since they were so small and delicious, man, I could never ever stop. I never got satisfied, no matter how much I ate. You see, there are two kinds of desserts. Super bingeable, like these tiny little ones designed for you to eat 1,000 of. They're so easy to eat double and triple the calories of the second kind, which is unbingeable desserts like ice creams or a heavy slice of cake. Unbingeable desserts, you have just one of it and that's it. So when you're cheating, some foods can get you hooked. And you could have insane phases with just those foods because they have this unhealthy control over you. I've had this with fast food, Oreos, but everyone's different. You know what yours are already if you just think about it. I just couldn't stop binge eating them, man. 2, 3, 10 times a day. But after finally getting out of that toxic relationship with them, when it's time to cheat, I'd go to a nice one-off restaurant instead of going to KFC, which is readily tempting me every single day. And instead of these small bingeable desserts, I'll get like a one big off dessert and just call it a day. We enjoy both types of desserts. Just stick to the ones you know you've got a healthy relationship with. Now, this next one is not just keeping you above 20% body fat, but it's also like my ex, a liar. It's lying to you and making you think dieting and losing fat is hard. So a few months ago, I traveled and stayed with a friend and her family. At that point, I was really focused on getting to 15% body fat, and this worked wonderfully for me because her family were super healthy and lean people. So I thought, wow, I'm gonna get ripped, man. On the first day we landed, they cooked us some lunch. I got served some chicken, broccoli, and tomato. I looked and I said, it's delicious, man. This is the best meal I ever had. You, sir, are a lucky man not to just have a beautiful wife, but one that can cook like this. But inside, man, I'm fucking dying. I hate broccoli. I hate tomato. I'd rather give my uncle a lower back massage than eat those. But I summoned all my strength and ate it all and said, this was wonderful. And I kept doing this for 2 weeks. I actually lost so much fat whilst I was on vacation. But ironically, when I got back from vacation, I put on double of what I lost. So despite following a healthy diet, it ended up worse because I was eating based on what they liked and they enjoyed. You see, a big mistake we make is trying to copy what's worked well with others. I can give you the exact meals I used to transform myself, but you're not gonna like it, man. I eat ass and feet in the bedroom. Are you going to do the same? So instead of trying to copy exactly things, you really need to audit and ask yourself, what do I like? The same goes with your trainings. I can tell you pull-ups are fucking amazing for your back. But you might love lat pull-downs, which is a very similar movement. Everyone has likes and dislikes, weaknesses and strengths with their diets. Maybe you love fish, which is a lean source of protein, and I hate it. But you use your strengths. And if you want to see a list of some of the best fat loss foods, your high protein, fiber, and volume foods, they're all in the same guide I spoke to you about earlier. So take a look and see what works well with you. Because trying to eat some wanker's favorite food when you're going to war with fat loss is like borrowing someone else's underwear. It might technically work, but it's ugh. You've probably heard less is more, but what does that even mean when it comes to fat loss? So in this next one, I'm going to show you how we can lose more fat by doing much less. Now, sadly, my ex and my mom never got along. If my ex made me a chicken sandwich, then my mom's in the kitchen watching a YouTube video on how to make a better one. If you lock my mom, my ex, and a tiger in one room, and you ask me, who am I saving first? I'd say the tiger, man. So this rivalry really bothered me, man. I can't explain to you how many hours and hours of my life just ate my head. I busted my ass off just trying to fix this and make it work. But then it hit me. There was no rivalry. My mom just wanted to spend some quality time with her son. And after doing that, problem solved, man. You see, when it comes to losing fat, we often act like me initially, focusing on the wrong things to get where we want to be, when there's a much smarter option right under our nose. So what we tend to do is we waste our energy on endless ruthless cardio sessions. We track our sleep scores, our heart rates, looking at sexy people on social media, wondering what is optimal. When instead, we need to fuck all of that and focus on the simplest of things, the fundamentals. Going to the gym 3 to 5 times a week, hitting your step count, sleeping 7 to 8 hours, getting your protein. Because as long as you do these things, you'll end up in a calorie deficit. Fuck your sleep scores. So if you're busting your ass off lifting weights and you're struggling to hit your protein target, instead of doing a 400 calorie ruthless cardio session, maybe take a step back and use that energy on meal prepping or grocery shopping, which will save you from thousands of calories throughout the week. Because if you don't do this, then you'll be eating everything. So what I want you to do is get this out of your mind. Work, train, cardio. And think about what is the best actions you can take that will put you in a calorie deficit. So if you're stressed at work, maybe you're better off not going to the gym. You stay in and you sleep a couple of hours more and you recover. Because if you're stressed, your hunger hormones are all over the place and you're eating everything and anything. You need to understand your energy is limited. Invest it only in the highest returning investments. And for the last mistake, it's going to be one of the hardest pills to swallow. And you'll need to be really ruthless with this one. So I started training when I was 13 years old. And I did well for years, man. But eventually, I ended up just losing myself. I started becoming a bit more social. And from being extremely disciplined, I became this drunk, partying idiot. I started gambling and playing poker every night until 3 a.m. whilst ordering junk food. And then I thought I was too good for the tiny gyms I grew up in, and I started driving to the fancy schmancy gyms that were miles away. I moved to a new neighborhood where there were lines of fast food chains one step away in every direction. And worst of all, I was living with my brother who's a pastry chef. So every single night there's a fiesta in my house. My surroundings were just gang banging me from all sides. I could have started an OnlyFans. Trying to lose fat when you have an environment like this is like trying to build a sandcastle right on the shore. As you try to build something and put some effort, it's washed away. Washed away in seconds. So how do we deal with this? Let's imagine you're a nice guy. You don't want to cheat on your partner. You're not going to have Tinder on your phone. You're not going to go chat up some honeys. Your best bet is to avoid all this and just eliminate all temptations. So if it's an option for you, try to move and live in a place where it isn't so easy to be fat to begin with. Move to a place where there's a nice gym close by. If you know you're going to meet friends who are going to drink and do this, then what do you expect is going to happen to your progress if you go meet them? So either you just meet them once a week, or you go and try to do new things with them, or just make new friends. Because if all your friends who are like my friends just want to drink and party all the time, then they're probably on a different wavelength which you are in. You might be trying to get your shit together, man. You don't want to be ashamed when you take your shirt off in the bedroom in front of her. You want to feel like yourself again, and you want to be in your prime. And if you feel that way, that's fucking awesome, man. You need to protect that. Do not let any junk in your house. If you want some, get out and get some. Just remember this. If you hang around the barber shop long enough, you're going to get a haircut. So choose and selfishly manipulate where you hang out, your surroundings, and be stern. You're not being a prick if you say no. And if the people around you are really your people, they need to learn and adjust too. This may make things 1,000 times easier for your fat loss. So now you know, stop eating when you feel fine, not before you feel like the universe. And when you're cheating, cheat with foods you can stay human whilst eating, not turn into a binge eating Godzilla. And choose a diet and training plan that works well with you. You invest your energy in the most important things that get you real results and ruthlessly fix your environment. You are a beautiful flower, and I want you to blossom into a tree of life. And if you're serious, don't forget to check the steps to getting jacked at 15% in the description. It'll help you drop below 20% way faster, man. Now, after fixing all these mistakes, there's no doubt you're going to get lean. But there's no doubt that stubborn belly fat is going to bother you too. So watch this video next. I got fat on purpose to prove that you can lose belly fat in just a week. So copy exactly what I did and say bye-bye to yours.